Have you ever wondered how some of the most important medical treatments came to be? Well, get ready for a story that will blow your mind. Today, we're going to uncover the fascinating tale behind this hair loss treatment. A drug initially developed for ulcer and then hypertension that accidentally became one of the most popular hair loss treatments in the world. Originally developed by pharmaceutical giant Upjohn Company in 1960s, this hair grower was initially intended for the treatment of ulcers. However, during the course of its development, researchers stumbled upon an unexpected and remarkable property of this compound: its ability to act as a powerful vasodilator, effectively widening blood vessels and allowing blood to flow more smoothly. This is the astonishing true story of how one man's grit, determination, 15 years of legal battle and refusal to be silenced led to the hair loss miracle we know today as Rogaine. Throughout the 20th century, people suffering from hair loss tried all sorts of bizarre and sometimes comical methods to stimulate hair growth. Some even went as far as standing on their heads, believing that improved circulation to the scalp would magically make their hair grow back. Sounds silly, doesn't it? But it didn't stop there. Others took more extreme measures, subjecting themselves to hormone cocktails in the hopes of regrowing their luscious locks. Little did they know, these concoctions not only failed to deliver the promised hair growth, but also came with some pretty unpleasant side effects, such as a diminished sex drive and, believe it or not, enlarged breasts. If only they had known that a real, effective, and relatively inexpensive solution was just around the corner. Enter Minoxidil, a game changer in the world of hair loss treatments. Towards the end of the 20th century, Minoxidil emerged as a revolutionary topical solution that could actually promote hair growth with minimal side effects. No more standing on your head or taking risky hormone cocktails. Just a simple, over-the-counter solution that could give you back your confidence and youthful appearance. The accidental discovery that led to a revolutionary hair loss treatment. It all started back in the 1960s when scientists at the Upjohn Company were testing a compound called N,N-dialylmelamine, or DAM for short, as a potential treatment for stomach ulcers. However, they noticed an unusual side effect. DAM caused a drastic drop in blood pressure in patients. Intrigued by this discovery, the researchers decided to modify DAM, creating a new compound called DAM-O. DAM-O was effective in lowering blood pressure, but it also caused severe side effects like edema and heart failure in some patients. Additionally, animal studies revealed that DAM-O could create hemorrhagic lesions in the hearts of dogs. Due to these alarming side effects, DAM-O was shelved, but the scientists didn't give up. Enter Minoxidil, a derivative of DAM-O and a compound with a more manageable molecular weight of 209 Daltons. Minoxidil showed promise in treating hypertension, and although it shared some side effects with DAM-O, researchers and physicians decided to press on with further testing. In 1971, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration granted emergency approval for the use of oral minoxidil in treating severe hypertension for a short period of 2 weeks. The idea was to observe the positive effects on blood pressure without allowing the severe side effects like fluid retention to set in. It was during these clinical trials at the University of Colorado that a first-year medical resident named Dr. Paul Grant noticed something peculiar. One of the patients, a woman in her mid-40s who had already suffered 2 strokes, experienced an unexpected side effect: excessive hair growth all over her face, head, and legs. Grant shared this observation with Dr. Guinter Kahn, the head of dermatology at the University of Colorado School of Medicine. Dr. Kahn, a German Jewish immigrant who had fled the Nazis with his family, immediately saw the potential for using minoxidil as a hair growth treatment. Determined to test their theory, Kahn and Grant secretly obtained some minoxidil powder from the study and created a 1% solution using ethanol and propylene glycol, a common vehicle for topical medications. They began testing the solution on themselves, Grant, and 2 other volunteers, a secretary and an unnamed medical resident. Initially, the results were disappointing, and enthusiasm waned. It was the Vietnam War era, with Paul Grant serving as a member of the U.S. Army Reserves and required to a 2-week stint of active military duty at nearby Fort Carson. During his active duty, he made a startling discovery. Under a bandage on his right arm, where he had applied the minoxidil solution, new, healthy, dark hairs had grown. Excited by this breakthrough, Grant quickly informed Kahn, and together they shared their findings with the Upjohn Company, the creators of Minoxidil. Upjohn immediately filed for a patent for the use of Minoxidil as a hair growth aid in 1971. However, The company also reported Grant and Kahn to the FDA for conducting unauthorized human experimentation. For several years, Upjohn seemed to sit on the knowledge of minoxidil's hair restoration properties. Some speculate that the company wanted to maintain a serious image and avoid association with the then-disreputable hair growth industry. However, in 1980, a case report in the New England Journal of Medicine titled "Reversal of Baldness in Patient Receiving Minoxidil for Hypertension" exposed minoxidil's hair-growing side effect to the medical community. With word spreading, Upjohn had no shortage of balding volunteers willing to participate in clinical trials. After successfully bringing oral minoxidil to market as an anti-hypertensive medication called Loniten in 1979, Upjohn shifted its focus to exploring topical minoxidil for hair growth. In the meantime, physicians began prescribing oral Loniten off-label to promote hair growth in patients, despite the additional side effects. Numerous clinical trials and scholarly studies followed, testing minoxidil's efficacy in promoting hair growth. Early tests on stump-tailed macaques, which naturally exhibit thinning hair and balding, yielded promising results. In 1983, a study using crushed minoxidil tablets dissolved into an ointment and lotion showed definitive hair growth in 16 out of 30 patients with alopecia areata or circular patchy hair loss, and marginal results in another 6 patients. Remarkably, minoxidil took only 6 weeks to start working, a relatively short time compared to the lengths people had gone to previously for hair restoration. Clinical trials for a topical minoxidil treatment started with a very low concentration of 0.01% and gradually increased to 2%. Substantial hair growth was only observed in patients using 1 and 2% solutions, further highlighting the serendipitous nature of Kahn's initial 1% solution tested on Grant and the others. Finally, in 1988, the FDA approved Upjohn's minoxidil for prescription hair growth under the name Rogaine. The company's initial choice, Rogaine, was rejected by the FDA for implying the drug worked in every case. In February 1996, an over-the-counter version of minoxidil as well as various generics became available, making topical hair loss treatment more affordable at around $30 per month. Today, androgenetic alopecia or male pattern baldness and general female hair loss are the only 2 FDA-approved uses for topical minoxidil. However, it is also commonly used off-label to treat other forms of alopecia, such as alopecia universalis or complete loss of all body hair, alopecia areata or patchy hair loss, and alopecia totalis or complete loss of scalp hair. Topical minoxidil is available as a lotion and a foam, with the foam considered the superior delivery method due to reduced scalp irritation. The initial 2% minoxidil topical lotion was followed by an improved 5% minoxidil foam in 1993, after the FDA approved the increase in active ingredient. In treating androgenetic alopecia, a 2% topical minoxidil solution has been shown to increase hair count by just over 8 hairs per square centimeter, while the 5% solution nearly doubles that, resulting in almost 15 new hairs per square centimeter. For women experiencing hair thinning, studies often use 2% topical minoxidil, which still yields impressive results of more than 12 new hairs per square centimeter. While these numbers may not seem significant, for those struggling with hair loss, the ability to regain even a modest amount of hair can be a tremendous boost to their confidence and self-esteem. Dr. Kahn's triumph over Upjohn. It is highly probable that Upjohn's evasive tactics and attempts to suppress the groundbreaking work of the formidable duo, Kahn and Grant, left a profound sense of bitterness within Kahn. Consequently, in 1974, Dr. Kahn departed from the University of Colorado and established a private dermatological practice in the sunny locale of Miami Beach, Florida. Relocating to Miami Beach is undoubtedly an upward move, and Kahn's decision to remain there until his passing in 2014 strongly suggests that he found contentment in this change. However, the happiness derived from the change in location was overshadowed by a protracted legal battle spanning 15 years. This courtroom drama pitted Kahn and Grant against the pharmaceutical giant Upjohn Company, ultimately culminating in 1986 with a pivotal outcome. Kahn was rightfully added as a co-inventor on Upjohn's patent for minoxidil, the active ingredient in the hair regrowth treatment Rogaine. Furthermore, both Kahn and Grant were awarded substantial royalties from the global sales of Rogaine, estimated to be between 2 and 5% of the nearly $200 million in annual sales. While the financial windfall was significant, it was equally important for Kahn to receive the long-overdue recognition for his groundbreaking contributions. In 1989, Dr. Kahn's relentless pursuit of acknowledgement was rewarded when he received the prestigious Distinguished Inventor of the Year award from the Intellectual Property Owners Foundation. Although a modest accolade, it was, by all accounts, a recognition that Kahn had fervently yearned for. Minoxidil's hair growth mechanism uncovered. Have you ever wondered how the popular hair loss treatment Minoxidil actually works to regrow hair? While the exact mechanisms are still unknown, scientists have some compelling theories based on research. Let's dive in and explore the current understanding of Minoxidil's effects on the hair growth cycle. First, it's important to understand that Minoxidil must be modified by an enzyme called sulfotransferase, which is present in hair follicles. This enzyme converts Minoxidil into its active form, minoxidil sulfate. Interestingly, if you take aspirin, it can interfere with this enzyme and reduce Minoxidil's effectiveness by preventing the conversion to the active form. So, Minoxidil users, take note. While the precise way Minoxidil induces new hair growth remains a mystery, many scientists believe it is related to its ability to dilate blood vessels or cause vasodilation. Minoxidil opens potassium channels in the smooth muscle cells surrounding the blood vessels where it is applied topically, allowing more blood flow. Surprisingly, Minoxidil is not the only drug known to cause increased hair growth, but also a condition called hypertrichosis. Diazoxide, a medication used to treat low blood sugar, can also lead to excessive hair growth. Since both Minoxidil and Diazoxide are vasodilators, many researchers think this connection supports the idea that increased blood flow plays a key role in Minoxidil's ability to stimulate hair regrowth. To understand how vasodilation might affect hair growth, it's helpful to know that each individual hair follicle goes through a repeating three-phase cycle. The first phase is the anagen phase, which can last multiple years, during which the hair is actively growing. Next is the short catagen phase, where growth stops and the hair prepares to shed. Finally, the telogen phase begins, often called the resting phase, where the old hair remains in the follicle while a new hair starts growing underneath, eventually pushing the old one out. Studies in rats suggest that topical Minoxidil shortens this telogen resting phase and may even allow for some growth during this phase, similar to the active anagen phase. Minoxidil also appears to lengthen the anagen growth phase in rats by accelerating the transition back to the start of the cycle after shedding. How do hair loss patterns shocking differ between men and women? When it comes to hair loss, men and women experience very distinct patterns. For guys, it typically starts with their hairline receding at the temples, forming that unmistakable M shape. As time goes on, this recession marches further back, eventually leading to full-on baldness for many. Women, on the other hand, don't get that receding hairline effect. Instead, their hair starts thinning out all over the scalp. In extreme cases, it can thin so dramatically that you can easily see their scalp. Interestingly, this type of thinning hair loss in women often kicks in around the onset of menopause. Controversy over outrageous pricing based on sex. Here's where it gets crazy. Despite men and women losing hair in totally different ways, they often pay wildly different prices for the same hair loss treatment products at the pharmacy. A 2016 study found that for Minoxidil foam products of the exact same size and strength, women were charged nearly 40% more than men. The mind-boggling reason? Just because it's marketed as the female version, both the men's and women's Minoxidil foams contain the same 5% concentration of the active ingredient Minoxidil. The only difference was the branding and packaging. The high price for the women's version stems from the fact that the drug maker Upjohn still holds exclusive patent rights to market Minoxidil foam for female hair loss, blocking any lower-cost generic competition from entering that market. But it gets even more ridiculous with the Minoxidil liquid solutions. The 2% Minoxidil solution marketed to women costs just as much as the far more concentrated 5% version for men, despite having less than half the active ingredient amount. Now, while Minoxidil is great for regrowing hair on the scalp, it can also lead to unwanted hair growth in other areas like the face, chest, and back. A 2014 study even looked at using a 3% Minoxidil solution for intentionally growing more chest hair in guys wanting that 24/7 sweater vest aesthetic. Though I can't imagine many Olympic swimmers signing up for that particular hairy look. The catch with Minoxidil is that once you start using it, you can't stop. If you do, any regrown hair will typically fall out again within 3 to 4 months. It's really a treatment you have to stick with for life to maintain the results. Topical minoxidil has also shown promise for helping regrow hair after the hair loss caused by chemotherapy. Studies found it can get that new hair growing again as much as 50 days sooner compared to not using anything. Unfortunately, similar results weren't seen in women using it during breast cancer chemo, leading some experts to recommend trying oral minoxidil pills instead in those cases. Speaking of oral minoxidil, while very effective for regrowing hair, it has to be used with caution. Oral minoxidil was originally developed as a blood pressure medication, and it can pack a punch of nasty side effects if used long-term, including fluid retention, rapid weight gain, irregular heart rhythms, and even potential heart failure in extreme cases. That's because, unlike the topical hair regrowing products, oral minoxidil gets absorbed throughout your entire body. This systemic absorption is what allows it to lower blood pressure so effectively. But it's a double-edged sword, since it can also wreak havoc on functions far beyond just regrowing hair. For women, oral minoxidil can also cause menstrual irregularities like a substantially shortened cycle of around 21 days. Unless you're comfortable rolling those tough potential sides, it's usually not worth the risks of oral minoxidil just for cosmetic hair regrowth when the topical formulations are much safer. Finally, one crucial warning: whether oral or topical, minoxidil products can be extremely toxic and even fatal to cats. There are documented cases of cats suffering severe breathing issues and lung complications after just mild skin exposure to minoxidil hair regrowth solutions. So if you're using minoxidil and have feline friends, you'll need to be extra cautious to keep that stuff far away from them. So there you have it. The incredible journey of minoxidil, from an accidental discovery during hypertension research to becoming a revolutionary hair loss treatment that has helped millions of people worldwide. It just goes to show that some of the most incredible breakthroughs can happen by chance when brilliant minds are willing to explore the unexpected. So what do you think about the story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more on the latest nutrition, health, and medical discoveries. Please share this video. Be a helper. There you have it. Take care of yourself and your health. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next video.